video yet.
Open it up.
Okay, we're live streaming, so you are all going to be famous today. All right, welcome everybody. I'm gradually letting people in. So if you're not familiar with Zoom, they adjusted things a while back so that you either have to have a password or a waiting room. So I wanted to make it as easy as possible for our attendees. So I did the waiting room. I'm going through here and muting everybody just in case you're not, so I can cut down on the background noise. Your cameras are automatically off and you're welcome to turn them on and show your lovely faces if you want. We'd love to see them. And so with that, we'll get started. You can see on the PowerPoint there, you are at the Indy Senior Living Series, in case you didn't know, an event that we're in our 5th year, which is crazy. And these sponsors have helped us continue to educate Indianapolis area seniors through our series. I am your host, Lisa Treadwell. I own Indy Real Estate Experts and Downsizing Indy. We specialize in helping seniors downsize into low or no maintenance living from start to finish, including sorting, packing, moving, unpacking, getting resettled into your new place, and then liquidating the things that don't go with you, including your house. So your house and everything in it. I don't know about the sponsors, and we're going to let you guys introduce yourselves, but I have gotten really swamped. I think that the spring market started about 2 months early. So that's good. That means that we're serving seniors in the Indianapolis area. So, and I've been able to partner with some of you actually, and that's really fun. So I'm going to go around and have you guys just introduce yourselves. If you're a sponsor, I see a lot of you on here, which is awesome. I want the audience to be able to meet you guys. And so you're going to just, like you do every month, your company, who you are, your company, how maybe you're different than your competitors. And then go ahead and type your information into the chat box. So that our really tech savvy attendees can look over in the chat box and see your contact information and maybe even your website in case they want to give you a call. So we'll start, I think Dave's on here maybe. We'll start with Dave Holder. Dave, are you there? Maybe he's not here yet. Okay, let's go down to Miranda. And if Dave gets on here, somebody just let me know that he's here. We'll start with Miranda.
Thank you, Lisa. Thank you for having me as a sponsor. Good morning, everyone. My name is Miranda Richard. I am an estate planning and elder law attorney. I serve Marion County and the Donut counties for estate planning. I serve all of Indiana for Medicaid planning. The part that sets me apart from some other elder law firms is that I go to clients' homes to meet with them if they want me to do that. So to gather documents, to look through the questions that we have to prepare their documents. And I'm happy to be a sponsor here today. This is something that's near and dear to my heart because so many of my clients have had social distancing challenges over the last year, especially being part of the elder community. So thank you, Lisa.
Yeah, awesome. I know our topic today could really serve anyone, considering what the last year has looked like for all of us. So I'm going to go to, I think Laura Roman's on here. I saw her smiling face. Go ahead, Laura.
Let me unmute myself. Hi, everybody. I'm Laura Roman. I'm with Westminster Village North. We are a continuing care retirement community on the northeast side of Indianapolis, and I am totally celebrating today. You guys, the guidelines have changed. We're waiting for some clarification from the Indiana State Department of Health and the governor's office, but we understand based on what we have read, and who knows, things can change, but we understand that visitation in long-term care facilities is now open, and we are celebrating. So I'm sorry, I had to share that. My heart is very happy today. So Westminster Village North, continuing care retirement community, northeast side of Indianapolis. If anybody is interested in learning more, I can have you come in. Welcome. Call me. Thank you.
Yes,
Bye,
that's
everybody.
great. And Laura, I just realized, yeah, you're our spotlight sponsor today. So I'm going to circle back to you so you can talk about any sort of
Okay.
movement specials or that sort of thing. So we'll circle back to you. I don't think Tiffany's here, although I've been texting with her to send some flowers to some clients today. I did not see Stacy or Adam from Seniors Guide. If you guys are there, just unmute yourselves and start screaming at me. I know Sarah's here because she's going to help me because I'm in the middle of a move right now for a senior. So if I have to step away, Sarah's going to be our co-host. So Sarah with Bright Star Care.
Hi, I will try my best. And Laura, I am so excited to hear that great information this morning. So I'm Sarah Mccord with Bright Star Care. We are a home care agency that private duty home care. We go in and help you with those daily tasks at home that have become a little more challenging, whether that is personal care or just some help with things around the house like housekeeping or changing bed linens, meal preparation, things like that. We can also help with your errand running, doctor's appointments, a grocery store, that type of thing. We service Marion County and the surrounding donut counties, and I will put our information so that you can give the office a call if you have if you have questions. We'll be happy to help.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, and as you're introducing yourselves, when you get done, just remember to put your information over to the side. And I forgot to mention, well, I'll mention it in the housekeeping, but next, without further ado, Jeff Stinson, I see your face. Hi.
Good morning, Lisa. Good morning, folks. Good to have you here today. I'm happy to be a sponsor. My name is Jeff Stinson. I'm a certified elder law attorney, which means I've been tested and peer reviewed and can say I'm an elder law specialist. I work in the Indianapolis area, but can serve folks throughout the state, assisting folks with estate planning, in particular with planning for meeting the need to pay for future long-term care costs, as well as helping folks that are needing some assistance right away. So help them protect assets, avoid complete impoverishment by also getting help to pay for care, typically through the VA pension program or the Medicaid system. Also work with a lot of families who have special needs children, and I plan for what happens when they're not available to take care of their child. Advocate, caregiver, and so on.
The slide was continually.
As well as
hang on. Somebody is, hang on. If you're not muted, could you mute yourself? I'm looking through here.
There will be that conquering peace.
Hello?
Keep hope alive.
Oh, there we go. We don't want to hear that conversation. Sorry.
That's fine. No problem.
Go on, Jeff. Sorry about that.
Makes me more memorable today. So
yeah,
I was just finishing up. Is in addition to the elder law, I also help folks who have children with special needs. I help plan for the event that mom or dad can no longer be primary caregiver, advocate, and so on, as well as help folks who have some limitations, but it's received a windfall, like through a settlement or an inheritance, and help protect those funds from their long-term care costs. Good to have you today, and thanks for attending.
Yeah, and Jeff has been a sponsor from day one, all the way back in 2017 when we had like 7 attendees. So I appreciate you. All right. I don't know why I just muted myself. I don't think I have any other sponsors on here. Dave, I don't see him. If you're a sponsor and you're here, just mute yourself.
Lisa, it's Missy.
Oh, Missy, yes, sorry. Yes. I did see you. Thanks for speaking up. Go on, Missy.
Okay. Hi, everybody. Good morning. Happy to be here today. My name is Missy Hancock. I'm the Director of Sales and Marketing at Marquette. We are known for being Indianapolis's premier continuing care retirement community. We as well are very excited that the guidelines have changed and people are allowed to visit. We are absolutely doing tours and visits. Lots of great housing opportunity here with our very nice apartments and cottages. So I'll post my information and reach out if you would like to come for a visit.
Yeah, that's awesome. We're great to have you guys join us last year and this year as newer sponsors, but we love it. We have some past clients in both Marquette and, hold on, I'm talking for my phone too, in both Marquette and Westminster Village. So it's great to have you guys partner with us. Okay, so we'll go on to the next slide, and we do have, since we're not meeting in person until who knows when, we don't get to see our sponsors in person like we used to. We had their booths on the side there, so we've been spotlighting a sponsor each month, and this month it's Laura, and I'd love for you to tell us about what's going on right now at Westminster Village, what has changed in terms of the restrictions that you and Missy are both so excited about. I'm excited to hear about it myself. And then maybe some specials that are going on, or something that makes your community different.
Thanks so much. I'm going to try and stay focused because I lost my mind just a little while ago. So again, my name is Laura Roman. It's really not Laura Romans. Take that S off. And I am the Director of Marketing at Westminster Village North. We are on the northeast side of Indianapolis. So, location is often a big issue if you're looking at for a continuing care retirement community. The big news that I'd like to share with everybody is we are offering full tours. We have been offering tours through our community. We do have some really wonderful properties available. And we are offering a spring incentive. So there's a cost savings for 2-bedroom apartments or homes or larger. So if you'd like to learn more, I'd love to talk to you, and you can see that they've been kind enough to put my email address and my direct phone number right there. Please feel free to give me a call. We've got right now, one of my favorite things is our houses. They are beautiful homes. I've got one that vacated through COVID, and we're ready to renovate it. So if someone is interested in a 2-bedroom home, 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom, it does have a full unfinished basement, storage, I guess. But if somebody would be interested in selecting all of the carpeting, the paint, and all of that, now's the time to give me a call about that. I'd love to show it to you. So thank you.
That's awesome, Laura. Thank you. And sorry about missing that S on your name.
No problem.
Laura Roman, just singular. There's only one of her.
There is. Thank goodness.
Okay, so let's move on to some housekeeping items. As I said at the beginning, you came in and you were muted. I think I have the settings so that you're automatically muted and your cameras are off. We want to respect your privacy. So we automatically turn your camera off, but you're more than welcome to turn it on. You can even change the name that displays. I don't know if you knew that, but many of you have your names on there. So it seems like you know how to do that. But we are recording and we're live streaming, and these will go on our website. So just to let you know, we'd love to see your face, but we also understand if you'd rather not be on camera forever. And so I do have a couple of people who have called in, which is great. If you're on a landline or on your cell phone calling in, and you have a question or you want to raise your hand, you hit *6 on your phone, and it will alert me. And I'm watching on Zoom, I'm watching on Facebook Live and on YouTube Live for questions. So if you're watching on Facebook Live or YouTube, welcome. Type your questions in the comments box. The comment box is below, and I'll watch for those and get your questions asked and answered. We are continuing on in April, and at the end of the event, we'll put a feedback form, and it's a feedback form and registration form all in one. So if you want to register for April's event, you can do that when we post a link there. If you're calling in, you can always RSVP using that Google Voice line that we have. We'll also post that as well, and get to that when it's time to register for the event. April's event this is a really popular one, resources for affording life after retirement. So we're going to be talking about alternative ways to afford senior living, your cost of living, or planning for your funeral, or things like that, saving, and then resources that might be available if you haven't saved, or if you don't have savings, or maybe you don't have the equity that you thought in your house, which would be surprising considering the real estate market right now. But we're going to cover all of that stuff during April's event. So you don't want to miss that. Tell your friends, tell your loved ones, and family members. They can join in. And then we will have prizes. Stacy Bonas with Clear Captions makes these beautiful baskets and delivers them every month. I think that brings her a lot of joy. So be sure to register for the prize. We have the baskets, and then we also have a $25 gift card. So I actually received a thank you note from the winner of last month's gift card. It was such a sweet card to receive, and I really appreciate the encouragement from our winner from last month. So, all right. Remember, if you're a sponsor, go ahead and throw your information over in the chat box. If you're on Zoom and you have questions, you can type your questions in there, either to everyone or directly to a particular person. If you just wanted to ask it in private, you can also raise your hand, or just unmute yourself and start shouting out your question. Okay, so we'll get started with the questions. We'll go, I'm sorry, thank you. Yeah, there you go. Well, so we'll go in order as you see here of our panelists. We have 4 great panelists from different areas around the city. And so what we're going to do first is have the panelists introduce themselves and tell who they are and what company they're with, and then we'll get on to the next question, and we'll go in the same order that you see yourselves here. So Edward Alexander, then Lev Rothenberg, Cindy Shimbri, and then Joni Pope. Did I say that right? Joni or Joanne? You can correct me when you introduce yourself. All right, so let's start with Edward Alexander.
Good morning, everyone. I am thrilled to be here. Thank you, Lisa and Julie, for including us. I'm Ed Alexander. I'm the Executive Director of Heritage Place of Indianapolis. For 45 years, Heritage Place has been at the corner of 46th Street and West 46th and Illinois Street. And that's my introduction, I guess, right? Did I do that right?
That's awesome. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you, Edward. And
Sure.
if you want to also, if you want to post your
absolutely
the website and everything over in the chat box. And yeah, and then we'll get back to you with the next questions after all of the introductions. And then I saw Lev on here. Good to see you, Lev.
Good morning and good morning, everyone. I'm Lev Rothenberg. I'm the Director of Arts and Education at the JCC. Our mission in arts and education is to build our community through arts and intentional dialogue. The JCC is on the north side of Indianapolis. We have about 10,000 members, of which, interesting enough, 65% are not Jewish. I do want to mention also this very important, that all of my programming, the arts and education program, is open to both members and non-members. So if you see something you like, even if you're not a member, feel free. I'm going to go ahead and post our website, our Facebook page, and my email address, because every couple weeks I send out a email blast about what's going on in cultural arts at the JCC. And if you're interested, just email me and say you'd like to be. So thank you very much, everybody.
Yes, Lev, I'm on that email list and I enjoy seeing what's happening there. I like your statistics. 65% of your members are non-Jewish. So in case you're out there and you thought that you couldn't be involved at the JCC because you're not Jewish, there you go. So that's awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa.
All right, Cindy, how are you?
I'm really good, thank you. I'm Cindy Scambry. I'm going to give you a quick way to remember that. Scam, as in cheat, and brie as in cheese. I used to be a school teacher, and my students came up with that. That's okay. Scambry. I am the assistant director at Prime Life Enrichment. We are a senior services and fitness and activities center that serves Hamilton County. We're located in Carmel, right next to the stadium. And we have a host of programs that are designed to help seniors age in place, continue their independence, but also to help people who don't come to the center. So we have a social services program that includes respite care, friendly visitors for people who are homebound. We help people with all kinds of social needs, you know, if they need food, if they need assistance with whatever it might be. We have SHIP counselors, the state health insurance program assistance program. We have volunteers who are here every day through the year, especially during open enrollment. We have water aquatics, water fitness program, and land fitness programs for all fitness levels. We specialize in 50 and above, but we even have members that are younger who come to some of the more challenging of the fitness programs. We haven't recently, but we do serve meals every day of the week. We are just getting ready to start part of that back up in April. And we're here to help in any way we can. I'll put our information in the chat box. I do want to just mention that we have a new, she's not new to Prime Life, but she is our new community services and activities coordinator. Her name is Julie Barnes, and she's online with us today. So I didn't want to just throw her under the bus, but she'll probably be the person representing us in the future. So glad to be here.
That's awesome. Cindy Scambry. I've been saying it wrong this whole time.
No, that's okay. I answered anything.
Awesome. And welcome, Julie Barnes.
Thank you. I'm really excited to be working with you guys.
Okay, next is Indy Parks, which I'm really excited to have here too. We've never had you guys on the panel before.
Well, thank you. My name is Joanne Pope, and you did pronounce it correctly the first time.
Okay.
So yes, I am with Indy Parks and Recreation. I manage multiple programs, including older adults. And I think a lot of people don't realize how big Indy Parks is. We have 212 parks throughout Marion County, and we really just serve Marion County. We let outsiders in, but we don't, you know, it's open to the public, but we don't go outside and do programs like in Carmel or any of the donut counties. And we do have a lot of adult fitness classes. We have exercise. Before COVID, we were doing trips and those types of things. We have started resuming some of the fitness classes and things that I'll go into more detail a little bit later.
That's great. So Joeen,
Correct.
I'm saying it right? Okay.
Mhm.
I really want to get people's names right. That's important, right? Okay, so we're going to flip to the next slide and dive right in. I do just want to, and I'll do this occasionally because we're streaming and we have people on phone and lots of different places. So I just want to remind you a few things. We're recording. We're streaming live on Facebook and YouTube, and we have folks on Zoom, and we have folks who have called in. So if you've called in, it's *6 on your phone to ask a question or raise your hand. If you're on Zoom, you can type it in the chat box or raise your hand. If you're on Facebook Live or YouTube, type your questions in the comment box and I'm watching and I'll get your questions asked and answered. So we've covered number 1. And again, if you haven't already, throw your stuff over in the chat box, your company name, how they get in contact with you, and maybe even your website. I've already gleaned some great information from just your introduction. So let's move on. We talked about this a little bit. So question number 2, how have things changed for your organization since the pandemic? And maybe even speak specifically about the new changes that have just happened. So Edward, we'll start with you and we'll just go down the line.
Well, I think the question is, how have things not changed? Because everything has changed. And what I failed to do in my unprepared introduction is Heritage Place, of course, serves people 55 and above. And our average age is, as of last fall, was 72 and a half years. So that gives you an idea of who our folks are. How have things changed? We had a board meeting last night, and this was sort of a side discussion. And we were talking about how everyone, including us, we thought, if you might recall, that we were going to have about a 2-week break. Everyone said we're going to step back and see what happens. And we had this vague 2-week time, and then we'd be back and life would be just as we left it. At Heritage Place, our membership is pretty involved in the governance of the organization. So they were pretty much right away concerned about not so much our programs, but about the folks that we don't see every day, the folks who perhaps already started out being somewhat isolated due to age or disability. Fast forward to today, our programs right now are pretty much virtual. About 75% of what we did a year ago, we are still doing, but it's pretty virtual. We just have announced that we're going to have a slow reopening for select groups beginning on April the 6th. We're excited about that, but at the same time, we had to be very careful to make sure that our instructors and our members are comfortable with doing that, because I don't want to throw open the doors with big fanfare and then it looks like I'm the only one in the room. You know what I mean? That was a real concern of ours. So we're going to do a slow roll into returning to programming. Of course, when it rains, it pours. We had just done a big restructuring pre-pandemic that we were very excited about. And initially, too, we had a longtime employee who told me she was going to retire pre-pandemic. That date is very, very close. So it's all kinds of things have changed. I think a plus, if you want to know the truth, is that when things were really, really, really frightening in the first several weeks of the pandemic, as far as our folks were concerned, people stepped up who we were not expecting and said, how can I help? How can we get folks the supplies they need? How can we get folks connected with technology? How can we help them pay for it? How can we help them learn to use these things, these tools? But I think more importantly, it was the connection with people. As everyone on this call is going to understand, when we are somewhat locked down, we spend a lot of time maybe with news sources that may or may not be the most correct information. And sometimes that information just freaks us out, understandably. There's a lot of junk there. There's a lot of things that concern folks. So even the phone trees that we had countless volunteers deliver food, deliver meds, pay for meds, just connect with folks to say, how's it going, sharing their concern. The nice part is that that relationship is never going to change. These folks are still connecting with one another. Now the focus for Heritage Place is the vaccine. We want to make sure everybody has the absolute 100% correct info, why they should get the vaccine, not be afraid to ask the hard questions, have the discussion. So things have certainly changed. As far as our staffing, we are extremely lean. We work in tandem with our landlord, and I believe that our building has never been so tidy and spotless, and we're all set to go. It's just a question of, will people come? I'm confident that some will, but that's okay. There'll be some that are still going to be a bit reserved, and we'll be there when they decide to come. So yeah, it's certainly a different world than it was in 1976 or in 2020.
That's great, Ed. You made some various really, really good points, and I'm glad that you all are staying safe. And it is difficult to sort of begin to open up and also be respectful of everyone's level of awareness or fear or whatever it might be with regards to the pandemic. And the point you made about just being stuck in our house, and you find yourself sitting in front of the television watching the news, and just kind of fans the flame in terms of fear and if the information is accurate or.
And I kind of think, I think all of the leaders of organizations on this call will agree with me. Nobody cares about who's the executive director. They just want to know what's going on. And we sort of have to throw our job descriptions out the window, because in the last year, we've had to do everything there has to be done. We still have to raise money. We still have to convince our stakeholders that we are a good investment, and this is what we're doing. We joke now, but my goodness, when people said, "Ed, have you thought about a virtual special event?" I think my head blew up, because it's like, well, how how? So we did that. We're not expert, but we're not scared to try it, I guess.
That's awesome.
We're all in the same boat.
Yeah. Well, a friend of mine, she puts it like, this is all a grand experiment, or this is all, we were lucky because my team and I had already been using Zoom for our weekly meetings that we have. And so we were familiar with using Zoom for a meeting, but in terms of like hosting large events like this, we had a bit of a learning curve, and I think we have adjusted, and we're not up to the number of attendees that we had in person, but I'd say the ones that we do have, I even see some new names today, which is awesome. I love it. Especially with being a year in, we're all sick of Zoom. We just want to see each other in person, but yeah. So if you need help with the Zoom event, I'm happy to help you.
Okay. Did everybody hear what you said?
You're holding me to it, right? Okay, let's
you.
get to, yeah, thank you, Ed. Let's get to Ed, or I'm sorry, Lev at the JCC. And again, if you have questions, *6 on your phone, type it in the chat box, or type it in the comments section if you're watching on a live stream.
Well, even though we are a very different facility than Ed's, I can certainly relate to so much of what he said. Our staffing's been cut way, way back. Fortunately, so many people have stepped up in so many ways that we've been able to continue. And I think so many organizations at certain points were wondering, is it weeks, is it months? Fortunately, as the JCC, we've been able to keep our fitness facilities open, although on a restricted level. We were able to come back very soon with our early childhood programming, which was very helpful because there were a lot of first responders that really needed that. At the arts and education level, of course, things changed. For about a year, everything has been virtual. And in some ways, that's horrible. But in other ways, we've been able to reach out and maximize. I helped form something called the Jcc Literary Consortium, which has allowed us to bring the level of speakers on a virtual basis that we probably never would be able to bring directly to our auditorium. In the last 2 weeks, for instance, we had both Walter Isaacson and Bill Gates. We've had people such as Jody Picoult, John Meacham, and altogether our JCC consortiums reached over 60,000 people. So it's really opened our minds. And in fact, a lot of this is going to continue onwards, even when I'm able to welcome people directly and in person. At the same time, we've had some very important classes that have all been on Zoom, but where people have really been able to form communities. We've had programs on bridging political gaps where people can just, very interesting conversations. We just started a program on implicit bias, which is part of our racial equity programs. And right now we're in the middle of a program about the Constitution, which everybody should know, but nobody seems to, including a lot of our politicians. But that's all the editorializing I'm going to do. So we've been able to pivot, and I'll be very happy when we can pivot back, but we've been able to have some very meaningful experiences in our arts and education department at the JCC.
That is all great, Lev. I love the programming that you have. A lot of that, it seems really interesting and educational. And it sounds like you've been able to start to have conversations that maybe should have taken place, before now. But if that's the good that comes out of this, well then, and something you mentioned that, even when we are able to open up, you'll still offer this virtual option. I think a lot of people plan on doing that. I know that we do when we're allowed to go back to in person at St. Luke's. We'll have to just offer the virtual option like we are now. And, we'll figure it out. And I think that if nothing, we've learned to be creative and to learn some new technology and how to adjust. So,
and for us, the virtual is going to be very helpful, especially for our senior community, because we have many programs in the evening. And as it gets dark, people have always said, I can't come to your programs because I can't, I'm not comfortable driving in the dark. So some people will still be able to.
Yeah, that is great. And I'm finding that, and maybe you guys have seen this too, panelists, that people who can't watch this event right now live, our videos, when they're posted on Facebook and on our website, they're getting upwards of 700,000, views. And I imagine, those people are from all over. So it sort of broadens our reach. Okay. Next up, Cindy. Are you muted?
Sorry about that. I also just got a notice that my computer's about to lose its battery. So I didn't prepare as well as I thought I did.
That's okay. Do you want Joanne to speak?
Yeah, if you don't mind, if Joanne could go, that'd be great.
Okay, there you go.
Hi. So Indy Parks, we never really closed during the pandemic. At the beginning, our parks have been busier than they have ever been. You guys might have remembered we did have to close Eagle Creek because it was too crowded. We had a lot of issues on some of our trails, such as the Monon and some of our other busier trails. And so, but we continued our programs, like delivering food for children. And then we added families and seniors on that. And then we also, last summer, we still ran our day camps, which was a big help, I think, to a lot of the essential workers and just for people who wanted to get their kids out of the house. And then senior programs, we had a super robust urban program before. We had most of our programs were in Center Township, and we had multiple fitness classes, garden plots, trips, dances, social dances, dancing class, concerts, that type of thing. And we did cancel all of our indoor programming for seniors, about a year ago. And then we just gradually have started bringing them back. And we have started doing some classes starting in January. And it was funny because we only had like 1 or 2 people. And we called everybody, there were like 50 people on the list or whatever. And we called everybody and they're gradually coming back. And I don't know if some of it has to do with the vaccine or that they feel like we have safe practices or a combination of both. So it's been kind of nice seeing people come back. We have not had as much luck with the virtual programming. We have with some of our camp, we did some virtual camps as well. We've had a good luck with some fitness classes for really anyone. And with the senior classes, we just haven't had a lot of luck. And I don't know if I think some of it has to do with a lot of our older adults don't all have access to computers and that sort of thing, I think. And so, or if they have computers, they don't have internet or they have limited ability on their phones and so forth. So that's been kind of hard, but we are gradually, like I said, getting back into the swing of it. And we're hoping to be, hopefully, back. Our goal is to be back 100% if the county ordinance and everything is lifted by the fall.
Well, that's great news. And that makes sense about, you're in Center Township mainly. And yeah, a lot of those folks may have issues getting tuned in virtually. We'll have to brainstorm about that and see if we can figure out a way. I don't know in terms of, if the library is open or if it's a place that people could go, but even still that involves getting out. So it's sort of.
I was just checking with the library about something else with our camps, and they are limiting their number of people right now to about 35, I believe. That was the main library downtown, which I was kind of surprised because it is such a large one.
Yeah.
But they are limiting their number of people still. So I think it's going to come, and we've got to be patient, and
yeah,
I think it's going to happen soon. I'm hoping, but I'll tell you, the adults that have come back to our programs, I mean, they are so excited, and the staff is so excited at the facilities because they've been calling and checking on them and doing those types of things. But it's just like, seeing an old friend that you haven't seen for a year. So that part's been kind of exciting.
I feel that way about the attendees to this event. I mean, some of them have been tuning in, coming to the events for 5 years, and they've become like friends to me. I email back and forth with some of them, go visit with some of them. And yeah, so I can't wait to see you all in person. too. I had a thought, I lost it. Oh, I just was gonna say, I remember when Eagle Creek closed down because we frequented Eagle Creek with our dogs, and yeah, it was super crowded. Okay, how are you looking, Cindy?
I'm good. I'm all plugged up.
Okay, there you go. All right, you're on.
Okay, thank you for that. Thank you, Joanne, for popping up real quick there. So things they changed a lot when we closed down last year. But we got the notice on March 16th, like everybody did. And on March 17th, we were closed. But fortunately, we have a volunteer who is a professional YouTuber, and we were streaming our fitness classes the very next day. What was very helpful is that we also had staff members and volunteers calling all of our members. We have about 400 members, and helping them learn how to do all of the things that you need to do to either do Zoom or YouTube. For our fitness classes, we chose YouTube because there's not as much interaction on the other side. They just have to like click the link and get it. We learned a lot here ourselves about how to track all of that. At first, we were just sending an email out every day with the links and asking them to email us back if they attended. And we've got that all sorted out with some Google Forms and other things and lots of staff hours. I forgot to mention that we do transportation in Hamilton County. And then we also take people from Hamilton County down to the VA hospital for seniors 50 and above. And we had to shut that down. And that was, I think, the most difficult thing, besides not actually physically being able to come to the centers, because that's such a service for like pharmacies and grocery store, doctor's appointments, that we take a lot of seniors to those activities, and they were left with nothing. But most of our drivers were 65 and above, so they were not comfortable. It was a difficult time. We reopened for our fitness activities in June, and we opened our transportation then as well. And we stayed open for those through most of the year and closed down again over the holidays. But that transportation, we were able to keep that even over the holidays. We've been able to keep that going, and that's been a blessing, I think, for everybody. We did, while we were closed down over the holidays, we did figure out a way to let people come in one at a time to use the walking track or to use the weight room or to use our aerobic machines. And so we just set up appointments and did their little temperature check, and everybody wore masks. So we've just learned to be very adaptive, I think is what I would say. Many of our seniors have said that they are really excited because they've become more internet, computer, everything savvy. But there were many hours of teaching people what it means to click on a link. Families stepped up and helped their parents or their grandparents either get a computer or get a phone or teach them how, the first few times. Our art program, we have a weekly art program that has continued from day one. They've done it by Zoom, and the response has been wonderful. We have, it's a great teacher, but it's also that they've kept that connection and camaraderie. Julie's been involved in helping us set up with one of our sponsors, Wellbrook of Carmel, a virtual book club, which has done really well. I would say now, as vaccinations are happening, we're getting, people are coming in the door. We've gotten several new members just this week, which we're really pleased about. We're still doing social distancing in all of our classes. We had to add more classes in order to have enough room. Our pool only holds 9 students at a time if they're socially distanced. And they were used to just popping in and taking a class. It didn't matter. Now they have to pre-register. That's at least for the water classes. The land classes, we have the ability to make the room bigger, so that it's not as big an issue for us. Our social activities, though, were completely cut off and haven't started again yet. We are starting the 1st of April to have our social programs. We have different clubs, men's club, we have a history club, needlework, scrapbooking, all kinds of things like that. Those will start again. We will still be social distancing and wearing masks until all the protocols are gone, or whatever the new normal will be. So we're excited about that. This week, the mood in the building, there haven't been that many people here, but there are a few new faces coming, or former faces coming back in, so they feel new now. And the joy of just being able to come into the building and see their friends and do all of that has been awesome. As I said earlier, we do meals. We serve meals Monday through Friday. Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday are SACOA supplied, and then Wednesday and Friday are supplied by Second Helpings. So we haven't had that all year, but fortunately, Divvy Restaurant here in Carmel stepped up and has been supplying 120 to-go meals every week that we deliver to various senior housing, but also to individuals. And that has just been a godsend for us. It has kept those people, a lot of people think, oh, Hamilton County, everybody's got money. No, we have low income seniors as well. And many of them relied on their only hot meal of the week coming from their coming here. Unfortunately, the Divvy meals aren't hot meals, but at least they're getting a nice, well-rounded, nutritious meal at least once a week. So we're starting our Second Helping meals. I'm looking over the side because my calendar's there. April 7th, Wednesdays and Fridays. It's free. Anybody, don't even have to be a senior. Anyone who wants a meal that day can come and eat. Then in May, we'll start our SACOA meals back, and that will be Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. It is for seniors, and you do have to register ahead of time with SACOA for those. But what I see is that there has been just a tremendous coming together of people in the community to help in any way that they can. And there's a great desire to come back in. We've been, sprucing up the building. We've been painting. We want to make it really, nice when they come back in. But I swear, if we were in a cave, they would be happy. The people that are coming in are just so excited to get that little bit of normalcy. I personally, from the people I've talked with, I think it has a lot to do with the vaccinations, because people who were coming before we closed down for the holidays haven't come back since we reopened in January. And the reason that they've all said is, I'm this close to getting a vaccination and I've held out this long without getting sick. So I'm just going to be extra careful until I have that done. But it is almost like clockwork. They get their vaccination, the last one, however long they have to wait, the next day they're in the building. And we think that that's been really good.
Yeah, that's great. I know that my own parents, they were waiting for their second vaccine to sort of travel. So I do think that has a lot to do with it. So awesome. Okay, I'm checking for questions. I'm letting more people in. Occasionally they're coming in and out. Again, if you are on your phone, press *6 to raise your hand. You can raise your hand on the Zoom call or type in your question on the chat box on the side. And then if you're on Zoom, if you're on Facebook or YouTube, just type your questions in the comments. If you are super tech savvy, I saw somebody, maybe one of the sponsors, shared our live stream on Facebook. Feel free to share it or host a watch party on there if you know how to do that. It's fun to see how many views each event gets. even afterwards. So, and it is, you're learning, one of you mentioned just learning how to track all of that. I don't think there's like a perfect way to track it, with getting everyone's contact information and all of that so you can follow up. But certainly you can see how many people have viewed and shared and commented and that sort of thing. And that's always fun to see. So. Okay, so let's move on to question number 3. Again, just we're really laid back, ask questions as they come to you. And this is, some of you may have answered a little bit of this in your earlier answers, but would you say more or less seniors are getting involved in your programs, and maybe what do you think the reasoning is for that? Have you adjusted specifically so that they can get involved, or more getting involved because of the vaccine, or maybe tell us a little bit about that. And then also I'll add to that question, if there's somebody on watching today and they wanted to get involved in your program, I know most all of you placed your information over in the chat box, but let's say they wanted to get involved. What is the fastest and easiest way for them to get involved? We'll start back with you, Ed.
Yeah, first of all, I just want to say one of the biggest pluses that this last year has provided is, when we didn't know what was going on, who did we call? We called our friends we called Lisa's or Cindy's organization and Julie's organization and said, help, what do we do? What are you guys doing? And vice versa. That is the real plus. We serve kind of the same people, but we do very different things. So it was really helpful to us to pick up the phone and call Prime Life and say, how, because we didn't know what we were going to do. And that happened all around the spectrum. It really, really did. In fact, I want to say too, that our Indy Park friends were so good to us that we had dance classes in most of the parks all summer. So we just did things, who we knew, we would just call, that's how we made new friends. So are people involved with our programs now? That's the question. Is that right, Lisa? Okay.
Yes, how is it, have you seen an increase or decrease? What do you think the reasoning is from that? And then how you've collaborated, that's amazing to hear. I love dance classes. That's awesome. And that was
survival. That was survival. Yeah, our people are getting involved. One way that we just sort of saw this week, we have a community garden like many do, and it's at the southeast corner of 46th and Illinois Street, right across from us. And normally this time of year, our job is to get out there and try to encourage folks to have a bed, to either rent a bed if they're in the community or reserve a bed. Well, the beds are already all gone. All the beds are gone, and we've got a wait list. People now want to come in and turn the dirt like now because it's nice out and they've been inside. They want to do it. They don't understand why I say, no, you can't do it yet. It is March the 10th. Wait a while. People are becoming more engaged with, as some have said, that the computer technology classes. They are more interested in the dance classes. Many of our dance troupes, and we have 4 of them, have continued. The stories I've told are I've heard are hysterical. Dance clubs of 70-plus-year-olds have met in driveways in our parking lot, church parking lots, cul-de-sacs. They're going to meet anywhere they can. The parks, of course. They've gone to shopping mall parking lots that have been pretty empty. So now they are the ones who are going to return, and those are the men and women who are our best marketers right there. I believe you asked about any kind of new restrictions, or have I jumped the gun on that?
No, I mean, this is great. I'm just a wealth of information.
You know, the restrictions are basically pretty obvious when you walk in. I mean, the place looks very different. We don't have any shared office space anymore. We've got markings on the floor. Keep in mind, we did that last winter when we thought this was a 2-week break and we had to kind of jump in. Masks, when you come in, it is totally up to the instructor and the vote of the class about if masks are being worn, particularly in an exercise class or a dance class. People have to exit a different door. There's all kinds of signage. We've had our water fountains replaced with more of a distributor fountain as opposed to drinking fountain. Everyone, I think, will welcome it. The tours that we gave this last week, everybody wants to know why we didn't replace the elevator, and it's like, do you have any idea what that would cost us? That's why the stairs are right there, and you're perfectly welcome to use the stairs. The banister is fresh and clean, and enjoy it. So there are a few things that folks will see, but I don't think it's going to impede anything. In fact, it's welcomed. It's welcomed, and most definitely our folks are engaged with what's going to be offered and what's not, as I said before.
That's awesome. A lot of information there, and I love it that people are getting out and becoming involved, and that you're being proactive about engaging people, and it's really great to hear. Oh, one last thing for you, Ed, and then I'll let you off the hook. If somebody did want to become involved, how do they get involved with your organization?
Well, it's pretty simple. Just give me a call, and I have the phone number in the chat. And what I'll put in here again, I didn't get my email in, but that's actually the fastest way. We don't have a cadre right now of volunteers in the building all the time. We will beginning in April, I hope. So I will put my email. That's the best way. Just say, hey, I'd like to be involved. I'd like to take a class, or I'd like to be on your list to learn about your classes, or go to the website is current.
Okay, good. I might have jumped the gun about how to get involved, but we can circle back if you missed anything, because that's, I think, a later question. But that's okay, because we're really laid back here. Okay, Lev, you're on.
Okay, I'm going to jump in, and I want to mention first that unfortunately, as soon as I finish, I'm going to have to leave because I have another meeting coming right up, another Zoom meeting.
Oh, look at you, just Zooms back to back. Yeah, so okay, so if you don't mind, if you can see, I don't know if you have the questions, but basically, like, you know, how do people get involved if they want to? Have you seen an increase or decrease?
Right.
And maybe, you know, what can attendees expect when they come to your building in terms of restrictions and that sort of thing?
Well, first of all, once again, with the arts and education, which is specifically my bailiwick, unfortunately, we don't have anything live yet, but we will. But the rest of the JCC is open, and when people come in, there's only one door they can come in through. Of course, you have to wear a mask. We'll be checking your temperature, and you know, we're limited as far as how many people we can allow into each one of our areas. And when we actually have our programming in the auditorium, we'll maintain, you know, those same types of things. People are certainly welcome to join our online programs. And once again, you don't have to be a member, you don't have to be Jewish, you don't have to be much of anything except interested. And the best way to learn about that, you can go to our website, which I put on the chat. You can email me, and I put my email in the chat, and you can also give me a call. So any of those things. As far as are we getting more or less senior citizens on a local basis, because remember, we now have we're attracting people from all over the country. But as far as a local basis, I think it's about the same number. We have been able to attract people who might not want to actually leave their house, even where there's no COVID. It's very, very convenient to, join our programs from your family room or wherever you want. And then there's a small number of people, seniors, who just are not technologically capable. Well, I'm sure they're capable. They're not technologically comfortable. And we've certainly found, I don't know if everybody else found, that there are a lot of people who might not have been comfortable with Zoom meetings in the first week, but now for them, it's like answering a phone. So, things have been pretty steady in that respect, and we've had very, very good feedback. So I think that answers the questions. As I say, I'm sorry that I have to move on to my next meeting, but I thank everybody. I'm very impressed with the fellow panelists. I think you guys are doing wonderful work. And with that, I wish you all the very best.
Thank you so much, Lev.
And thank you, Lisa. You and Julie are doing wonderful work also.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, we'll move on to you, Cindy, if you're ready.
Okay. Do you want me to just answer this question? You want me to like kind of pop those three together?
You sure can.
Okay.
That seems to be working.
Yeah.
Okay. But I just encourage everybody, if you have questions, again, type them in the chat or comments box, or hit *6 or raise your hand, and we'll get it answered. Don't worry about interrupting or anything like that. We know that it's kind of weird on Zoom anyway. So, all right, go ahead, Cindy.
Well, first, I want to say thank you to Ed for the kind words about how we've worked together. It has been amazing how we've kind of lost the competitive desire, if there ever was one, but everybody knows that, we either got to do this together or it's not going to happen. As far as whether we have more or less seniors getting involved, I think right now we definitely have more because things seem to be getting better. So things are getting involved. But we were really, really fortunate with our membership that we lost about 10% of our members. But once we started doing the virtual, we started picking up people from other places. Like for our evening classes are usually younger folks. They're in their 40s, 30s, some 50s. They started telling their parents from other states that they could do it online with us. And so we had members from Nebraska and Chicago, Ohio. So we kind of picked people up. Our plan is to continue with the virtual of all our activities from now on, so that anybody who wants to participate can participate, even if they can't come, whether it's COVID related or not. Lots of people who work but don't get off work until 5 o'clock. And sometimes doing a class at 6:30 is not really high on their list of things they want to do then, but we've recorded them. They can go back and look at them later. So it's been good. I do think that things will start ramping up. We will get more people involved, either by using our transportation, using our social services, or coming to the center for either a fitness or a social activity or a meal. It just feels optimistic right now. Right now, we have all the same restrictions as anyone else. You have to wear a mask. You have to get your temperature taken when you come in. We have to social distance. We do allow in our classes, we've marked out the floor in blocks where you can stand, and then you're at least, I think you're really like 7 or 8 or 9 feet away from the other person if they're standing in the middle of their block. But you have to wear a mask until you're exercising, and then you don't have to. Same way with walking the track. And we haven't had the problem of the track getting crowded like it sometimes does in the pre-COVID days, or it did during the pre-COVID days. But if that happens, we'll deal with that at the time. But right now, you can take your mask off when you're doing that. And and we require that they take their masks off in the pool because we don't want them to drown with water getting sogged into a mask or something. So that is, those are the big differences. Let's see. Oh, and if you wanted to get involved, the easiest way is just pop in and talk with us. We'll give you a tour. But you can call. You don't have to make a reservation for a tour. There's always folks here that can do that. You can call or you can email. You can go to our website. We are in the midst of doing a new website. Our other one's kind of antiquated, but we took the opportunity over COVID to go, you know what? We need to fix that. So it's not great. I have my email address and telephone numbers in the chat, and so does Julie. Julie will be in charge of our volunteers. So if you want to volunteer for something, she'd be the one you'd be talking to anyway. So I would suggest that you give her a call. If you'd like to come in, if someone would like to come in and just try out the building, we can give you a one-day pass. You take whatever classes you want to take, join us for a meal or one of our educational programs or one of our social activities. We make it pretty easy to try.
That's great. Yeah, I love it that, seniors are becoming more tech savvy. Like somebody mentioned, we've all had to adjust and learn new things, including seniors. And one thing I thought when one of you were talking, I just remember March was our last in-person event. And so then April was our first Zoom event last year. And we started calling people that were previous attendees to, if they needed, us to walk them through how to get on Zoom. And these attendees on this call right now, or Zoom meeting or whatever, they were amazing. We were like probably 2 weeks in since we had been, everybody quarantined. And I didn't have to walk anybody through, I don't think, how to log in to Zoom or anything like that. I know that some people had family members and things like that helping them. Somebody mentioned, how our family members have stepped up, but they were just on it. What you'll find that the attendees here, they're all learning based, a lot of retired nurses and teachers and things like that. And so this particular audience have been wonderful about adjusting and learning new things. So, Cindy, sorry, you just walked away. I'm putting you on the spot here. Somebody has asked, you can't find the number for Prime Life Carmel. They're not familiar with chat. And so let me see if I can
I can answer for you if you'd like.
Yeah, go ahead.
Phone number?
Yeah.
The phone number for Prime Life is 317-815-7000. So 815-7000.
Yeah, Julie, I forgot you were here. That's awesome.
Sorry about that.
Rose, did that answer your question? Is there anything else that you were that you wanted to know about Prime Life? Just real quick, I did pull it up again. You guys are located on 3rd Avenue Southwest in Carmel. And
yeah, it looks like someone asked if we have to live in Hamilton, if you have to live in Hamilton County, and absolutely not. We have people from all over that are members.
Oh, that's great to know. So you do not have to be a resident of Hamilton County, because I know for some things,
yeah, transportation is the only thing that we can't pick up people outside of Hamilton County and bring them in. We can cross over the border like to St. Vincent's at 86th Street, and we can go to the VA hospital if we pick up in Hamilton County.
That's really good to know.
That's the only restriction.
We've got a lot of veterans that attend, and I know that they're able to get vaccines now. And so if they wanted to go to the VA hospital to do that, that's really good to know. Yeah. Okay. We're on to Joanne, I think, right?
Yep. Right now,
everybody's done. Just lump all of those, answers together.
I'll try my best. I've been jotting down little notes. A lot of what everybody else has said is kind of happening with us as well. We are right now having fewer seniors just because of COVID. Before COVID, our numbers were increasing and that sort of thing. But unfortunately, we did lose quite a few seniors due to COVID. Most of the seniors that we serve are in high risk groups. And so a lot of them are hesitant to come back still. But I think, like I mentioned earlier, with some of our fitness classes, we're trying to, do the safety things with the masks on until you start exercising. We're spacing people about 10 feet apart. The floor is marked. The instructor is about 12 feet apart. So we're fortunate we have a lot of gyms, so we can really spread people out. We have also added extra classes if we need overflow. And then we also, I think it was Ed had mentioned his gardening program. My phone is ringing off the hook for our gardening plots. Ours are 25 by 25 or 50 by 50. Last year, we gave them away free. We filled them up, and we usually charge a minimal cost, $35 for a senior for the larger one. And we filled them, and now they are probably about 3/4 to 7/8 full. So we haven't even really opened it to returning or to new people yet. This is just returning people from last year or the previous year. So I think that's been really great. And they keep calling, wanting to know, can they get out there? When are we going to till it? When are we going to stake it? And I'm like, we'll have it done by May 1st. We promise. But, we're kind of at, Mother Nature and our people that actually plowing their schedules. So that's been good. Our concerts, movies, things like that have been great during the summer last year, and we're going to be doing those again. So a lot of people, families and that sort of thing, were able to come together and do some activities. And like I'd mentioned earlier, our parks have been really crowded with walkers, and even in the winter, sometimes some of our parks are like ghost towns. And this year I've been seeing people, I know this last week was pretty mild, but even the previous, when it was really cold, there were still people out there walking in the parks. And a lot of those were older adults during the daytime. So that's been really great. And we have started a couple new classes in January for older adults, including a cooking class with the Marion County Health Department. And those numbers started out really slow, and now we're filling the spots. So it's been kind of hard because we, have them at 1 6-foot table. They can't do any sampling right now, but it's still a really engaging class. So we've been spreading them out, and we're doing it in a gymnasium. So it's a little different than we had intended when we planned the program. And I think that's it. If people want to get involved with any of our programs or find out more information, I would recommend them calling our customer service number. And I did put it in the chat, but I will repeat it. It's 317-327-PARK, P-A-R-K, 327-PARK.
The hell is that?
Good. Okay, I'm looking for questions. If you don't mind, Julie, will you click to the next slide? I think that everybody has answered all of the questions that we have, that we sort of lumped 4, 5, and 6, and 3, 4, 5, and 6 together. If you have questions, now's the time. We have about 10 more minutes left. I'm watching the live stream as well as the chat box here. If you're on the phone, again, *6. I think it's great that that the people are wanting to get out and till. And I know Ed mentioned they don't have any more. You're having a wait list. That's amazing. It seems like people are learning new skills or just rediscovering some hobbies that they had before in terms of, outside work and things like that. Okay, I'm going to post the link for the registration form for the prize. I'm getting it here. My internet's really slow. I think I just have too many windows open. All right, so this month we're going to be doing the gift bag that Stacy always does, Stacy Bones with clear captions, and then we also have the $25 gift card. So I have posted the link there. If you're on the phone, obviously you can't click the link. I got your number, I believe, in here. Yes, I do. I have your number here on the recording, so we'll be able to add you and figure out who you are. If we can't figure it out, we'll just call you directly, so that you can be a part of the drawing. That link that I put there to everyone, it will also allow you to register for April's event on how to afford senior living. If you want to go ahead and click to the next slide, Julie. Still looking for questions. Oh yeah, Miranda says thank you. All right, there's also a little tiny URL there for the registration form, but it's not an active link, so you can't click on that on your screen, but you can click over in the chat box there. And then if you are on your phone and you're a phone person, you can call that that Google Voice number that I mentioned at the beginning. It's 317-731-2289. 317-731-2289. We have on here also, if you are looking for free home evaluation or downsizing consultation, we do that free. Thank you so much for letting me attend, and so interesting. And I'm currently working on getting this in my area. That's awesome. Michelle is from a different area of the country, which again shows we have people who can watch all over. So with that, and that's a good lead in to make sure you're inviting people. It doesn't matter where they are, because these are hosted on Zoom and you know, Facebook and YouTube. Somebody mentioned they're doing more things on YouTube because it's just easier to get into. Because if you don't have a Facebook account, it's kind of frustrating when somebody's, you know, streaming something on Facebook. So that's why we do it on YouTube as well. It's a little bit just broaden the audience and adjusting for everyone. Okay, I don't see any other questions. If you have a burning question you haven't asked yet, just unmute yourself and start screaming it out. Oh yeah, from Kansas, and I'm seeing, oh yeah. She sees her cousins here in the group. That's awesome. Okay, well, again, panelists, thank you so much for your time and all of the information. I hope that our attendees got something out of it and that your phones and emails blow up from today with people wanting information, or your websites, you know. And then for the sponsors too, I so appreciate you. Again, I couldn't do this without you guys. So I really appreciate your support and just being able to work with some great people in the industry in this way. So with that, we're gonna close down a little bit early, 7 minutes early. There's our sponsors again. So thanks again, guys. Enjoy.
Thank you, Lisa.
Yeah, enjoy the weekend.
Bye, everyone.